Hey, it's Steve Anderson with the Property Tax Avengers talking about Oregon property taxes. And you might have seen some news lately about Big Pink selling downtown Portland, the US Bank Tower. There's been a negative influence for quite some time in downtown Portland on property values. So the foot traffic down there has pretty much gone down dramatically in the last 4 or 5 years. And leasing activity is slowed down in downtown Portland. Matter of fact, I read a report this morning that said Portland had the highest vacancy factor of the top major 50 US major cities in the United States at 35%. I think that might actually be light, quite frankly. I think it's actually higher than that. So let's just talk a little bit about what's going on in downtown Portland. So you have this leasing activity problem where people aren't renewing their leases, aren't moving into new locations, aren't growing downtown Portland, are evacuating downtown Portland for other suburbs or other areas, if you will, with their businesses. So it's created this huge glut of inventory. And there was a sale last year, August of last year, of the Montgomery Park building, the Montgomery Ward's building over on Bond Street, for $33 million to the Nashi family, the Nashi Group. And that is the largest square footage, leasable square footage building in downtown Portland at 746,000 square feet. That building sold for $33 million. Put in perspective, this time before it sold was back in 2000, and I think it was 19, for $255 million. So an 87% discount on the previous sale for that building. Green Park building obviously was not fully leased. It had some major issues regarding that, cash flow, et cetera. And then you had the sale July of this year, last month, of the U.S. Bank Big Pink Tower, if you will, on Fifth Avenue, Southwest Portland, for $45 million to the Swicker Group. And that property sold in 2015 for 300 and what was it? $312 million in 2015. So 88% discount on the value of that property. So the first largest and the second largest buildings in downtown Portland go at a severe discount. Now in 24, when Montgomery Park building sold, the assessor's answer to people who are appealing to property taxes, well, that's just one sale. It's an outlier. It's all by itself, distressed property, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Now that you have the two largest buildings by square footage in Portland core area selling at deeply discounted values, it's going to just release, in my opinion, a bull rush to the assessor's office to get appeals done on these commercial buildings downtown Portland. Perspective, the third largest building in downtown Portland, the Wells Fargo Tower on Fifth Avenue, at 577,000 square feet of leasable space. Currently on LoopNet has a listing of 244,000 square feet available for lease in that building. So it's 42% of the building through one advertisement, probably more than that, but one particular owner, one particular property owner is trying to lease out 42% of that building right now as we speak, empty space. So that's indicative of what's going on downtown Portland. You take that's the current market. With last year obviously wasn't good. There were well over 100 appeals last year in downtown Portland property to the local appeals board, Multnomah County. My inside information tells me that there was roughly $200 million of property taxes that were reduced because of the 100 plus appeals that took place in the local board in Multnomah County in the downtown core area. Almost all the hotels in downtown Portland filed. I know that for a fact. That's one aspect. The second aspect is that second piece of the puzzle here is that the owners that didn't get what they wanted in appeal to the local board have filed in state tax court, and or some people that own properties in downtown Portland have filed in state tax court for previous years, added this year onto their previous year appeals in the court system. There are over 300 appeals right now in state tax court involving downtown Portland, four properties, if you will, core Portland properties, including 130 condos in the Ritz-Carlton, which you might have seen just went back into receivership recently. That's almost half of the properties we're talking about that are in appeal in the state tax court. And my inside information tells me that they're looking at possibly $300 million being taken off the revenue rolls for those appeals in Salem. The assessor's office does not have a very positive outlook on cases that are being tried or dealt with, negotiated, if you will, in tax court in Salem, because they're a pretty weak position right now with the market the way it is. What I'm trying to convey to you is that $500 million that they're missing right now is about 9% of what Multnomah County collected last year in property taxes. However, I think this year, 25, 26, will be even worse because with these two anchor sales, the Montgomery Park and the US Bank Tower, number one, number two largest buildings, at least square foot buildings in the downtown Portland core area, going at 88% reductions. I don't have a lot of positive hope for property taxes and valuation in downtown Portland. I don't see how the assessor can support that. Secondly, while we're on the subject, I think it's kind of interesting. I kind of say it tongue in cheek that they're talking about maybe converting some of these office buildings in downtown Portland into living units, condominiums. Well, if you, if you know anything about the downtown condominium market in Portland, it's been bad for 3 or 4 years, and it's been trending negatively for at least the last 3 years anyway. It's been going down and going down, not so dramatically, but going down. And once again, it's because of what's going on in downtown Portland. I mean, it's not the livability of downtown Portland, let's face it, is not what it was 5 or 10 years ago. And because of that, the desire to be there is not as strong as it was. When you have a downward trend in a valuation model, I'm an appraiser and and also a frustrated economist. I went to economics at Portland State when I went there. You start seeing this pattern develop where, okay, we got this declining asset called condominiums in downtown Portland. And let's say I buy Big Pink for $45 million, which is what the current owner did. I want to convert to condos. It's going to be a long, drawn out process because the city of Portland is notorious for having issues with the permitting process. One, two is you're changing the building use. Okay, well, you're changing the zoning, if you will. That's going to be a couple of year valid by itself, just by that one issue there. And then you're going to go out to the commercial market and ask lenders to loan you money on a product that's decreasing in value as you speak. So very hard sell. I just don't see. I know you can't go into a bank and borrow that kind of money. I think it'd be more or less a group of investors would do that. Why investors want to get involved in a declining market and declining valuation property and put millions and millions of dollars into it, I don't know. I mean, it can be done. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not very positive or about the potential situation there now. So yeah, I just don't see it being a positive answer. It's a novel concept. It's being tried in the cities, but I don't see it happening in Portland. I'd be surprised if it did. Make her louder. Go ahead. I wish you would. That being said, that's my input. I received several phone calls and emails regarding this issue. And in my opinion, we haven't hit bottom yet. We're getting close to it. We haven't hit bottom downtown Portland. And these two sales are really strong indicators of the fact that we've got a ways to go here in valuations. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you later.